Hey there. Ready to dive deep? Today we're tackling the power of your subconscious mind.
By Joseph Murphy.
That's right, published back in 1988.
But still so relevant today.
Absolutely. For anyone wanting to understand how their subconscious works.
And maybe even more importantly, how to actually use it.
Exactly. To improve their lives, achieve their goals, all that good stuff. So,
let's jump right in.
Let's do it. So, right from the beginning, Murphy describes the subconscious mind as
this incredible treasure house within each of us.
I love that image.
Capable of creating these amazing changes in our lives.
And he doesn't waste any time getting to the point. One quote that really stood out to me was,
whatever you want, you can draw forth.
Powerful stuff, right?
It is. And the thing is, Murphy doesn't just present it as some kind of mystical or
like out there concept.
Right. He connects it to science, compares it to things like
physics, chemistry, those sorts of things.
Yeah, like just as mixing certain elements creates a specific result.
Like hydrogen and oxygen making water.
Exactly. He says that in the same way, putting thoughts and beliefs into your subconscious can
create real experiences in your life.
I love that.
Yeah, it's a great analogy. It makes it feel less like a
big mystery.
Yeah.
And more like a formula you can actually work with.
Right. Something you can actually understand and use. But then he also talks about this idea of
the duality of the mind.
Yeah.
Like we have the conscious mind, the part we're aware of.
The thinking, rational mind.
Exactly. But then there's this whole other part, the subconscious, that's often
irrational, reactive.
Yeah. And that duality is so important to understand because
you can have your conscious mind wanting one thing, like success.
But if your subconscious is full of fear and doubt,
it's almost like they're working against each other.
It's a constant tug of war.
Yeah.
And I think that's why so many people struggle to
really achieve their goals,
I haven't quite grasped
that dynamic between the two parts of their mind.
Exactly.
It's not just about, positive thinking. It's more like
getting both parts on the same page.
Working together. And there's this other metaphor Murphy uses that I found fascinating.
The book of life.
Yes. He describes the subconscious as this.
Book of life.
What do you make of that?
Well, think about how soil works. It doesn't care what kind of seed you plant in it, good or bad. It just
accepts it.
It accepts it. And then those seeds grow into whatever they are. Murphy says your subconscious mind works the same way. It takes in any thought, any belief, any feeling you put into it.
And then those become the seeds that grow and
manifest in your life.
Wow. It makes you realize how important it is to
be mindful of what you're planting in there.
Right. Pay attention to those thoughts, those beliefs.
Those stories you're telling yourself.
It can be a little unsettling when you really think about it. Like if you
put the wrong information in.
Yeah. It's like programming a computer with bad code. The program just won't work. And it made me think of that story Murphy tells about
inducing seasickness.
Yeah, just by suggesting someone looks ill.
The power of suggestion is a real thing.
It is. And that story highlights how our subconscious minds can
latch onto those suggestions.
Especially when they tap into
fears or anxieties we already have.
Yeah, those things that we're already kind of worried about.
But the good news is we do have a choice. We can
choose to accept or reject those suggestions.
It's not like we're just puppets. We have the power to become aware and consciously decide
what we let in.
Exactly.
So we really do have a responsibility to be
the gatekeepers of our own minds.
And it makes you think about the impact our beliefs can have. Like that story about the man who
got a negative suggestion from a fortune teller.
Yeah. And ended up dying because of it. Pretty intense stuff.
It does make you think. And I think what that story really shows us is that
the subconscious doesn't
it
doesn't judge whether a suggestion is
positive or negative.
It just accepts whatever is impressed on it.
Most strongly.
So it's less about whether or not we believe in things like fortune telling.
And more about understanding how powerful our minds are.
Yeah, and how important it is to be mindful of that power.
To focus on cultivating positive, life-affirming thoughts and beliefs.
Absolutely. And that leads us to another interesting idea from the book, the
law of reversed effort.
Can you explain that one?
It basically means that sometimes trying too hard to make something happen can actually
not fire.
Exactly. Especially when it's fueled by fear or anxiety, all that mental effort creates this inner conflict that can actually
sabotage your goals.
Exactly. It's like that old saying, what you resist persists.
Right. And that makes sense, Like, have you ever noticed that the more you
try to force something,
the more it seems to
slip away?
Yeah, that's happened to me too. So, any examples of how this law might actually show up in, like, everyday life.
Sure, think of a performer, about to go on stage. They want to do great.
But the fear of messing up
Takes over. All that worry creates this tension that
can make them actually perform worse.
it's the same with things like exam anxiety. The more you try to force yourself to remember information.
The more your mind goes blank.
Exactly. So sometimes easing up on the mental pressure is actually
More effective.
counterintuitive, but true.
So then how do you actually break free from that cycle that
Reversed effort.
it seems like a real catch-22? You're trying to achieve something, but the harder you try, the further away it gets.
That's where all the practical techniques from the power of your subconscious mind come in.
The actionable stuff. So one of the techniques Murphy talks about is
Visualization.
Visualization.
Picturing your desired outcome as if it's already happening.
Yeah.
Creating a mental blueprint for your subconscious to follow.
Right. Like building a house. You need the blueprint before you can.
Start laying bricks.
Exactly. And there's another technique mentioned in the book that I found fascinating.
Oh, yeah. Which one?
It's called the,
Kaduan technique.
yeah. Murphy tells a story about a woman who used it to try and resolve.
A legal dispute.
Yes. Have you ever tried that technique?
I have. It's pretty interesting. It involves coming up with a short phrase.
Like a mantra almost.
Exactly. And you repeat it over and over to yourself.
To implant a certain belief in your subconscious.
Right. And the key is to do it when you're relaxed, ideally right before sleep, when you're...
Conscious mind is quiet.
Exactly. That way the suggestion can get past all those mental barriers and really sink in.
Like a seed finding fertile ground. In the book, the woman used the phrase, "It is finished in divine order," to shift her belief from
fear and anxiety about the lawsuit
to one of trust and faith.
Exactly.
And ultimately, things worked out in her favor.
It's amazing how powerful these simple techniques can be. My experience with the Baudouin technique has been really positive as well.
That's fantastic to hear.
Yeah.
And speaking of aligning your mind with what you want, we can't talk about the subconscious without addressing
Wealth consciousness.
Oh yes, that's a big one.
It is. The book emphasizes how much our beliefs about wealth actually shape
Our financial reality?
people who effortlessly attract wealth tend to have a whole subconscious belief system that's set up for
Abundance.
yes. They don't see wealth as scarce or hard to get. They believe...
It's their right to be prosperous.
Exactly.
That's fascinating because it suggests that it's not just about working hard.
It's about your mindset.
Your beliefs about wealth and abundance. And Murphy also talks about aligning your desires with a higher purpose, using the story of a boy who wanted to become...
doctor.
Yes. By constantly visualizing his medical diploma, he was able to
achieve his goal.
It's such a powerful story. What do you think is the importance of that? Aligning your ambitions with something bigger than yourself.
I think that story beautifully illustrates how much more powerful your subconscious can be when you combine your personal goals with...
A desire to serve others.
Exactly. Murphy actually lays out 3 key steps to success. Finding your true passion.
Okay.
Using your work to serve humanity.
Yeah.
And making sure your desires are aligned with universal good. It's about creating a full circuit of energy.
Where what you want benefits both you and
the world around you.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's about finding that perfect sweet spot where your personal fulfillment also.
It makes a positive impact.
And then, of course, there's the role of sleep in all of this.
Yeah.
The book even mentions scientists who
solved problems in their dreams.
Have you ever had a similar experience where your subconscious seemed to be working on something
while you were asleep?
It happens to me all the time. I'll wake up with a solution to a problem that had been bugging me or...
a new idea?
Exactly. It's amazing. So what's Murphy's take on sleep and the subconscious?
He believes sleep is a powerful way to tap into that subconscious wisdom. When our conscious minds finally rest.
It's like the subconscious is free to...
into the surface.
And do its thing. He even suggests praying for guidance before sleep.
And then trusting the insights that come when you wake up.
That's a great tip. It's not just about getting enough sleep. It's about...
actively using that time for insight and creativity.
I love that. But beyond just personal growth and achievement, Murphy also talks about how we can use our subconscious power to
improve our relationship.
Because it seems like our subconscious beliefs play a huge role in
how we interact with others.
Absolutely. So what are some of the key insights in the book about that?
Well, think of your subconscious mind like this powerful...
transmitter and receiver of energy.
Exactly. The thoughts, beliefs, and emotions we hold inside.
Radiate outward.
Affecting our interactions with other people.
So it's not just about what we say or do. It's about
the energy we bring to those interactions.
That makes so much sense. And it makes me think about one of the most well-known principles,
The
the
golden rule.
do unto others as you would have them do unto you.
Right. But in the book, he doesn't just present it as a moral principle. He talks about
Psychological power behind it.
it's about understanding that wishing good for others actually benefits us as well because it aligns us with positive energy.
It's like that saying, what goes around comes around, but on a much deeper level. So how can people actually put this into practice?
The book has some great techniques for that. One of the biggest is empathy. It's about really stepping into another person's shoes, trying to feel their emotions and see things from their perspective.
Moving away from judgment and towards
Compassion.
I love that. So instead of focusing on what's wrong with someone or dwelling on past hurts, we can consciously choose to.
Affirm the good in them.
And forgiveness is also key, right? The book shares this amazing story about a man who healed his
High blood pressure.
by forgiving himself for his past mistakes.
It's incredible. Forgiveness is so important for our overall well-being.
Because holding on to resentment or guilt, it's like
Poisoning your mind.
and blocking that flow of positive energy. Murphy reminds us that life itself is inherently forgiving. Just look at how our bodies,
Naturally heal themselves.
it's true, our bodies are constantly striving for,
Balance and
Yeah.
wholeness.
that's a beautiful way to put it. It's like a constant process of renewal. But I know forgiveness can be so difficult, especially when you've been deeply hurt. Do you have any advice for people who...
You're struggling with it.
Absolutely. The book suggests some really helpful methods. One is to mentally replay the situation that caused you pain, but to do it from a place of compassion.
Try to understand the other person's actions, knowing they were probably acting from their own pain or limitations.
It's about releasing that emotional charge from the past. There's another powerful practice, too, blessing the person who wronged you. I know it sounds kind of counterintuitive, but
Sending love and goodwill.
can actually shift your internal state and create space for healing.
It's about breaking free from that cycle of resentment.
Moving into a more peaceful and empowered place. So we've talked about positive thinking, forgiveness, but what about those fears and mental blocks that can hold us back?
Well, the book emphasizes that fear is often based on,
False beliefs.
yes, or past experiences that are no longer relevant.
So it's not always based in reality.
Exactly. And fear itself is just a negative thought that can be replaced with a more constructive one. Our minds are incredibly adaptable.
So how do you actually reprogram your subconscious?
Overcome those fears.
One powerful technique is through affirmations. So for example, if someone's terrified of public speaking, they could repeat to themselves.
I am confident and articulate.
Or, I am calm and composed when speaking in front of others.
Exactly. You're essentially flooding your mind with positive, empowering beliefs.
So you're counteracting those negative thoughts and beliefs with positive ones.
Exactly. And it's important to actually acknowledge your fears, bring them to the surface, and
Challenge them.
yes, instead of ignoring or trying to suppress them.
Look them straight in the eye.
Exactly. Ask yourself, is this fear based in reality, or is it just a product of my imagination? You'll often find that when you really examine your fears.
They lose their power.
That's right. And visualization can also be a powerful tool for overcoming fear.
Like mentally rehearsing a successful outcome.
Exactly. You're creating new neural pathways in your brain and weakening the hold fear has on you. It's like giving your mind a new script to follow.
And what about something like aging? Can our subconscious beliefs really influence how we
Age?
Absolutely. The book really challenges conventional thinking about aging, emphasizing that it's mostly a state of mind.
Exactly. Our minds and spirits are ageless. It's the thoughts and beliefs we have about getting older that contribute to the physical
Manifestations of aging.
Exactly. If we believe that getting older means decline and deterioration,
Our bodies are more likely to follow suit.
it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy.
So it's not about denying the physical realities of aging. It's more about,
Shifting your perspective.
right, focusing on the positive aspects.
Yeah.
Murphy offers some powerful affirmations to help with this, like,
I am wise in the way of the divine life.
"My mind does not grow old." I love those. It's about recognizing that your chronological age doesn't define your... Exactly. This has been so fascinating. There's so much to unpack in this book, even though it was written decades ago.
It really is a treasure trove of wisdom.
Before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, is there one key takeaway you'd like our listeners to really reflect on?
I'd say the most important message is that we have incredible power to
shape our own experiences.
Exactly. It's not just about understanding the subconscious. It's about actively choosing thoughts, beliefs, and actions that will create.
The life we want.
It's about becoming conscious creators of our own reality.
And for our listeners out there, I encourage you to think about which of these concepts really resonates with you.
How can you apply these principles to make positive changes in your own life?
That's a great question to ponder. And with that, we'll wrap up part 1 of our deep dive into the power of your subconscious mind.
It's fascinating, isn't it? This whole idea that we're constantly creating our own reality.
Based on our beliefs and expectations.
Exactly. It's like having...
Inner architect.
Yeah. Building and shaping our lives based on the blueprints we provide.
And those blueprints being
Your
our
thoughts, beliefs, expectations. You got it. It really highlights the responsibility we have for our own lives.
It's not about just passively hoping for things to change. It's about taking an active role in
Creating the reality we want. You
Right.
got it. And that's where all these practical techniques from the power of your subconscious mind become so important.
It's not just theory. It's about having actual
Tools and strategies.
to work with this incredible power we all have.
Exactly. And one of the key things Murphy emphasizes is that our subconscious minds are most receptive when we're in a,
Relaxed state.
like that drowsy twilight zone between being awake and asleep.
That in-between state.
Exactly. He calls it the sleepy state.
Okay.
And he believes it's crucial for impressing new beliefs on the subconscious mind.
So when we're in that relaxed state, our conscious mind, the critical analytical part, kind of,
Takes back seat.
so those suggestions can slip right past.
Bypass those mental filters and reach deeper layers of the subconscious.
It's like when you're trying to fall asleep and all these random thoughts start popping up.
Exactly. Your conscious mind is letting go, and your subconscious is more open to suggestion.
That reminds me of the story about that surgeon back in the 1840s, Dr. James Esdale.
Oh, yes. The one who performed surgeries using only the power of suggestion.
That's the one. And his patients were in this sleepy state during the procedures.
It's incredible. His work really demonstrates the incredible potential that can be unlocked when we tap into the power of the subconscious mind.
Makes you wonder what else we might be capable of if we could fully harness that power.
Right. And the book really dives into the interaction between the conscious and subconscious minds.
How they work together.
Because that's really the key. Think of your conscious mind as
The
the...
rational thinking part.
Yes. The one that analyzes, makes decisions, sets goals.
And the subconscious is more the feeling, intuitive part.
Exactly. It's where your habits, beliefs, and emotions reside.
So for real, lasting change to happen, you need to
Get both parts on board.
align those thoughts and feelings.
Exactly. It's not enough to just think positive thoughts. You have to really feel them, believe them on a deep subconscious level.
And that's where techniques like visualization and affirmations come into play.
They bridge the gap between the conscious and the subconscious, engaging both your thoughts and feelings.
The book talks about a man who used something called auto-suggestion to improve his...
Memory.
Yeah. He kept telling himself, I have a perfect memory.
It's a powerful technique. By consciously choosing the suggestions you give your subconscious, you can gradually...
Replace those old limiting beliefs with new, empowering ones.
It's like giving your mind a software update.
And that brings us to another important concept from the book. The
Law of belief.
yes, which basically says that our subconscious mind will accept as true,
Whatever we believe.
whether it's actually true or not.
Exactly. It really highlights how much our beliefs shape our reality. If you believe you can achieve something,
Your subconscious mind will,
mobilize all its resources to make it happen.
but if you believe you're going to fail,
You're setting yourself up for failure.
that's like those self-fulfilling prophecies we create.
Exactly. And the book even suggests that this law can influence our...
Physical health.
Absolutely. There's more and more evidence showing that our thoughts and emotions can have a huge impact on our physical well-being. The book has so many stories about people who healed themselves.
From all kinds of ailments, just by using the power of their minds.
It's incredible, right? And one of the most powerful examples is Murphy himself. He healed himself from
A skin condition, right?
a malignant one through prayer and understanding of the subconscious mind's healing power.
It really challenges that idea that we're just victims of our circumstances.
Or genetics.
Yeah. We have an active role to play in our own healing. But it's important to acknowledge that there are many paths to healing.
From traditional medicine to alternative therapies.
The key is to find what works best for you.
And to approach it with an open mind, trusting your body's innate ability to heal.
So it's about empowering yourself, taking an active role.
Whether it's seeking professional help, exploring different modalities, or harnessing the power of your subconscious mind.
It's all about finding what resonates with you.
Absolutely. And while the book focuses a lot on personal responsibility, it also recognizes that we're all connected.
Interconnected.
Yes. And that we can positively influence the well-being of others through our thoughts and intentions. Murphy calls it
Absent treatment.
absent treatment. It's the idea that we can send healing energy and prayers to others even if we're not physically present with them.
There's that story about the woman whose mother was very ill.
Oh, yes.
Mm.
And she couldn't be there in person, so she used absent treatment to...
Send healing energy and prayers.
And her mother made a remarkable recovery.
It speaks to that power of our thoughts and intentions
To extend beyond ourselves.
to impact others, even from afar.
It's a powerful reminder of our interconnectedness.
It makes you think about how much more we could accomplish if we really tapped into that collective power.
It's an exciting thought. But let's shift gears a bit and talk about how the book applies these principles to success.
It always seems like successful people just have this,
Uncanny ability to achieve their goals.
like they have some secret formula.
Well, the book suggests that it's not just about talent, hard work, or luck.
It's about aligning your conscious and subconscious minds with your goals.
And taking inspired action. It's about believing in yourself, in your ability to achieve what you set your mind to.
And finding your...
Bliss.
Yes. The work that brings you joy, fulfillment, and allows you to...
Make a positive impact.
Murphy talks about that a lot.
He does. He believes that true success comes from aligning your passions and talents with a desire to serve others.
To make a difference in the world.
Exactly. When you do what you love and use your gifts to serve others, success becomes a natural byproduct.
It's not about chasing after success. It's about...
aligning yourself with your purpose.
and letting success flow from that alignment.
Exactly. And being open to guidance from your subconscious mind, especially when it comes to making those big decisions.
Because our subconscious minds have access to so much
Wisdom and knowledge.
that our conscious minds might miss.
It's like having this inner compass that can guide us in the right direction. Sometimes we just need to...
listen to it.
Exactly. And one way to do that is to simply pay attention to your intuition, those gut feelings that often arise.
There's that great story in the book about the scientist who was struggling to figure out a problem with a fossil.
The fossil fish, he had been working on it for ages and couldn't make any headway.
So he decided to...
Sleep on it.
And in the middle of the night, he had this vivid dream where he saw the fish perfectly, all the missing pieces filled in.
His subconscious mind had solved the puzzle while he was asleep.
It's amazing. It shows the power of our subconscious minds to work on things even when we're not consciously aware of it.
Exactly. It's like having this incredible, invisible team working behind the scenes.
And sometimes the best thing we can do is to just get out of the way and let them do their thing.
Surrender to the process. Trust that the answers will come.
And speaking of the power of the subconscious mind, Murphy also dives into the fascinating connection between
The subconscious mind and sleep.
because sleep is such a powerful time for accessing
The depths of our subconscious.
The book mentions how many great thinkers, inventors, artists, they all receive their most brilliant insights.
During sleep or in dreams.
It's true. Like those aha moments that seem to come out of nowhere.
And Murphy suggests that we can actively utilize sleep to tap into our subconscious wisdom.
By doing things like
Praying for guidance before we go to sleep. Being open to those intuitive nudges when we wake up.
that's a great tip. It's like setting an intention before you go to sleep, asking your subconscious mind to work on something specific.
And then being receptive to whatever insights or inspiration might come your way.
And I've also heard that keeping a dream journal can be really helpful.
Oh, absolutely. It can reveal so much about what's going on in your subconscious mind. Dreams often speak in the language of...
Symbols and metaphors.
Exactly. It's like learning to decode the messages your subconscious is trying to send you.
It's fascinating.
Mhm.
But let's shift gears again and delve into the book's insights on human relationships.
Because our subconscious beliefs have a huge impact on how we relate to others.
It's true. So how does the book address this?
Well, first, it reminds us that our subconscious minds are like these powerful...
Transmitters and receivers of energy.
Exactly. And the thoughts, beliefs, emotions we hold inside radiate outward and affect our interactions.
It's not just about what you say or do, it's the energy you bring to those interactions.
Precisely. And that's why Murphy emphasizes the importance of.
The golden rule.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
not just a moral principle, it's a psychological principle that reminds us that wishing good for others actually benefits us too.
It's like we're all connected.
Exactly. And that by sending out positive energy, we create a more harmonious and fulfilling experience for everyone.
So it's about cultivating those feelings of goodwill and compassion.
And extending that to everyone we encounter.
The book also talks about empathy.
Empathy is crucial. It's about stepping into someone else's shoes, trying to feel their emotions, and understand their perspective.
Instead of judging them.
Exactly. It's about moving from a place of judgment to a place of compassion.
And it's not always easy.
Especially when we're dealing with difficult people.
It's true. But the book encourages us to practice empathy even with those who challenge us.
Because everyone is acting from their own level of understanding.
So by extending compassion, we can break free from those cycles of judgment.
And create a space for understanding and connection.
And the book also talks about the importance of being mindful.
Our inner speech.
Those constant conversations we have with ourselves.
Exactly. It's easy to fall into patterns of negative self-talk, especially when we're feeling stressed or insecure.
So the book emphasizes the importance of
Catching those negative thoughts and replacing them with positive, empowering ones.
it's about being kind to ourselves,
And recognizing that our inner speech has a huge impact on our experiences.
both internally and externally.
Exactly. It's like we're constantly creating these self-fulfilling prophecies with our thoughts.
And it's not just about our inner speech, it's also about our outer speech.
The words we use when communicating with others.
Words have so much power.
They do. And the book encourages us to use words that build others up. Words of kindness, encouragement, appreciation.
It's about creating a positive, energetic field with our words.
And contributing to a more harmonious and uplifting world.
There's a great example in the book about a woman who was constantly criticizing her coworkers.
Oh, yes. She was miserable at work, felt like everyone was against her.
And then she started practicing this simple prayer. I wish for everyone what I wish for myself. Health, happiness, and all the blessings of life.
What a beautiful and powerful practice.
And it completely transformed her experience at work.
Her coworkers became more supportive and cooperative, and she started enjoying her job so much more.
It's like that ripple effect. When you change your inner world, your outer world starts to reflect those changes.
Exactly. It all comes back to that idea of taking responsibility for our own energy, our own thoughts and beliefs.
And recognizing that we have the power to create the reality we desire.
Both within ourselves and in our relationships with others.
Beautifully said. Now, before we move on, I want to talk a little bit more about forgiveness because the book really emphasizes its importance.
It's essential. Holding on to resentment, guilt, or anger is like carrying around this heavy weight.
It blocks the flow of positive energy.
And it prevents us from experiencing true peace and joy.
But forgiveness can be so hard, especially when you've been deeply hurt.
It's true. But the book reminds us that forgiveness isn't about condoning the other person's actions or letting them off the hook.
It's about freeing yourself from the pain,
It's about choosing peace over suffering.
and it's a gift you give yourself.
It allows you to let go of the past and move forward with a lighter heart.
The book even talks about how life itself is inherently forgiving.
Just look at the way our bodies heal themselves. It's a constant process of renewal and regeneration.
It's incredible when you think about it.
It really is. And we can tap into that same power of forgiveness within our own hearts.
Do you have any specific advice for people who are struggling with forgiveness?
The book suggests mentally replaying the situation, but doing it from a place of compassion.
Trying to understand why the other person might have acted the way they did?
Exactly. Everyone is operating from their own level of awareness and understanding. And ultimately, forgiveness is about
Releasing the pain and resentment.
and making space for healing to occur.
Well said. And before we wrap up this section, I want to touch on one more point that's really important. The idea that we can use our subconscious minds to overcome
Fears and mental blocks.
those things that hold us back from living our fullest lives.
Because fear can be such a powerful emotion.
But it's often based
Or
on
else beliefs or past experiences.
that no longer serve us.
Exactly. And the book emphasizes that fear itself is just a negative thought that can be replaced.
With a more constructive, empowering belief.
Because our minds are so adaptable. We have the power to reprogram them to create new neural pathways.
And affirmations are one way to do that.
Affirmations can be incredibly powerful. If you're struggling with a specific fear, like public speaking, for example, you can repeat affirmations to yourself like,
I am confident and articulate.
or I am calm and composed when I speak in front of others.
And the more you repeat those affirmations, the more your subconscious mind starts to believe them.
Exactly. You're essentially flooding your mind with positive energy, which helps to counteract the negative energy of fear.
And instead of trying to ignore or suppress our fears, the book encourages us to actually acknowledge them.
Bring them to the surface and challenge them.
It's like shining a light on those fears, taking away their power.
Exactly. Ask yourself, is this fear based on reality or is it just a story I'm telling myself?
And often you'll find that when you really examine your fears,
They lose their grip on you.
it's like taking back your power.
Exactly. And visualization can also be a powerful tool for overcoming fears.
Mentally rehearsing a successful outcome.
Exactly. You're creating new pathways in your brain, training your mind to respond differently in those challenging situations.
It's like giving yourself a mental pep talk.
You could say that. And the book provides techniques for overcoming specific fears, like fear of heights, fear of water, fear of closed spaces.
There's that great story about the man who had a crippling fear of elevators.
Oh, yes! He couldn't even stand to be near one.
And the book guided him through a process of visualization and affirmation.
Where he imagined himself riding in an elevator, feeling calm and relaxed, stepping out into his office with confidence.
And after practicing that technique for several days, he was able to overcome his fear and ride an elevator without any anxiety.
It's a wonderful testament to the power of the mind to overcome even our deepest fears.
And to create the reality we desire.
Exactly. We have this incredible power within us to rewrite our own stories, to break free from those limiting beliefs, and to create a life that truly aligns with our dreams.
And speaking of creating the life we desire, I love how the book challenges conventional thinking about aging.
It really does. It emphasizes that age is really a...
State of mind.
Exactly. Our minds and spirits are ageless.
It's our beliefs about aging that contribute to those physical manifestations.
If we believe that aging means decline and deterioration,
Our bodies will likely follow suit.
it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. But the book offers powerful affirmations to counteract those limiting beliefs.
Affirmations like,
I am wise in the way of the divine life. My mind does not grow old.
I love those. They really shift your perspective.
It's about recognizing that our chronological age doesn't define our potential or our capacity for growth.
Or for joy and fulfillment.
Exactly. And it encourages us to stay curious, to keep exploring and learning,
To embrace the beauty of each stage of life.
and to recognize that each stage has its own unique gifts and opportunities.
I love that perspective. It's about choosing to see aging as a process of growth and expansion.
Rather than decline and limitations.
And that by shifting our beliefs about aging, we can create a much more vibrant and fulfilling experience for ourselves.
And inspire others to do the same.
Well said. And before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I want to touch on one more thought-provoking concept from the book. The idea that our subconscious minds can reveal,
Insights and solutions.
go beyond our conscious understanding.
It's a fascinating idea. The book suggests that our subconscious minds have access to this vast reservoir of knowledge.
It's like tapping into a wellspring of wisdom.
Exactly. And sometimes all we need to do is step aside, relax, and allow those insights to surface.
So it's about trusting the process, trusting our intuition.
And being open to receiving guidance from within.
The book shares several examples of people who received guidance or inspiration, often during sleep or in dreams.
It's like our subconscious minds are working on things even when we're not consciously thinking about them.
And then those solutions or ideas just seem to pop up out of nowhere.
It's incredible. And the book suggests that we can cultivate this connection with our subconscious minds through practices like prayer, meditation, and journaling.
It's about becoming more attuned to that inner wisdom,
And learning to trust those inner nudges.
to trust that guidance that comes from within.
Exactly. And when you do that, you open yourself up to a world of possibilities.
And speaking of possibilities, I want to share a story from the book that really highlights this idea of receiving guidance and support from our subconscious minds.
I'd love to hear it.
So the book tells the story of a man who was lost in a dense jungle.
Oh, wow.
He'd been wandering for days, and he was exhausted, hungry, and scared.
That's a scary situation to be in.
He had given up hope of ever finding his way out. And then he remembered something he had read about the power of the subconscious mind.
So he decided to tap into that power.
He did. He sat down under a tree, closed his eyes, and started to pray.
What did he pray for?
He prayed for guidance. He said, "Infinite intelligence, which guides the planets in their courses, is now leading and guiding me out of this jungle."
What a powerful prayer.
He kept repeating this prayer until he felt a sense of peace and calm wash over him.
It sounds like he surrendered his fear and worry to a higher power.
Exactly. And as he continued praying, he felt this surge of energy and determination. He stood up and started walking, and within a few days, he miraculously stumbled upon a rescue team.
That's incredible. What a testament to the power of the subconscious mind to guide us, even in the most challenging circumstances.
It's a beautiful reminder that even when we feel lost and alone, there's a part of us that's always connected to that greater wisdom.
To that guiding force leading us toward our highest good.
It's a powerful message of hope and resilience.
Hmm.
It really is. It reminds us that even when things seem impossible, there's always hope.
There's always that inner strength we can tap into.
And it brings us back to this idea of aligning our desires with a higher purpose.
Yeah, something bigger than ourselves.
Because the book suggests that our subconscious minds are much more receptive when our goals aren't just about us, but about contributing to the world.
It's like there's a deeper part of us that wants to...
Make a difference.
Exactly. And when we tap into that, our subconscious mind really gets on board.
It's like finding your true calling.
It's not just about achieving goals for the sake of achieving them. It's about aligning your aspirations with something that feels meaningful.
Something that resonates with your soul.
Exactly. And I think that's what Murphy is trying to convey in this book. That when we align ourselves with a higher purpose,
We unlock this incredible power.
we tap into a source of energy and inspiration that can help us achieve things we never thought possible.
It's like we're not just working towards our goals, we're co-creating with the universe itself.
That's a beautiful way to put it. It's about recognizing that we're not alone in our endeavors. There's a force, an intelligence, a wisdom that's always there to support us.
To guide us and help us bring our dreams into reality.
Exactly. It's a powerful concept, but I know it can be challenging to put all of this into practice.
Because it's easy to fall back into those old patterns of
Negative thinking, self-doubt.
those limiting beliefs that hold us back.
Reprogramming your subconscious mind takes effort. It takes practice.
It's like training a muscle.
Exactly. It's not going to happen overnight, but the book emphasizes the importance of
Patience and persistence.
and self-compassion. Be kind to yourself along the way.
Because it's a journey.
It is, but it's a journey worth taking.
And the power of your subconscious mind really gives us the tools we need to...
Navigate that journey successfully.
We've talked about so many amazing techniques, from visualization and affirmations to prayer and meditation.
There's something for everyone in this book.
It's about finding what resonates with you and incorporating those practices into your life.
Make it a part of your daily routine.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into the power of your subconscious mind, I want to leave you with this thought. The power to create the life you desire lies within you.
You are the architect of your own destiny.
It's not about magic or wishful thinking. It's about understanding how your mind works and using that knowledge
And consciously create the reality you want.
And remember, you are not alone on this journey.
There's a power within you, a wisdom beyond your conscious understanding that's always there to guide and support you.
Well said. And with that, we come to the end of our deep dive into the power of your subconscious mind. We hope this exploration has inspired you to
Tap into the incredible power of your own mind.
create a life that is truly extraordinary.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep believing, and keep creating the life of your dreams.
And we'll see you on our next deep dive.